Hey there, Saki here from SAKITECH, and in today's video, I am going to give you 10 solid tips to increase and manage the battery life of your Samsung Galaxy S9 or S9 Plus. Now, not all of us need to extend our battery lives if we have access to chargers or carry portable power banks. But many of us might actually benefit from battery life extension tactics if we are not surrounded by chargers all the time. So let's dive in and discover. And also, if you're wondering what case I'm using on my Galaxy S9 Plus or S9, I will drop a link to this case in the description box down below. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at SAKITECH Online. Alright, let's go. So the one thing that eats battery life more than anything else is the actual screen. So as long as the screen is turned on, it is eating massive battery life. So what you want to do is you want to make sure to actually set the proper brightness and also make sure that the screen turns off automatically when it's not being used. So the first thing you want to take a look at is the screen timeout setting. So let's go to the settings really quick. Go into the display and scroll down over here to where it says screen timeout, and make sure that you pick the lowest setting possible, which in this case is 15 seconds. So if I choose this one, and if I just put the phone on the table and walk away, in 15 seconds the phone is going to turn off the screen. Alright, so I have mine turned on to 2 minutes because I'm actually recording a video and I need the screen to actually stay on. So I'm going to put it back to 2 minutes here. Actually 5 minutes is fine too. But if you're doing it, make sure that it is at 15 seconds or 30 seconds, and that's going to make sure that eats minimum amount of battery life using the display. Now the other thing you want to do is change the screen resolution. So the screen resolution of the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus is astounding. It's a great high screen resolution. So you go over here again in the display, you tap on it, and make sure that you have it in the middle. Okay, so you're not going to lose too much visual quality. The higher this is, the more pixels you're going to see on the screen. But the naked eye really is going to have a tough time seeing the big difference between the QHD Plus and the regular full high definition Plus. So make sure to keep this over here in the middle to get the best possible battery life and also the best quality. Now if you drop it down to HD Plus, you get this low screen resolution, and in that scenario you may actually see a decrease in sharpness of overall image quality when you're looking at pictures and videos. But if you keep it in the middle here, you'll be perfectly fine. This is one of those features that is going to dramatically save you some battery life going forward. And inside the display, the final thing I want to take a look at is the brightness. So what I recommend you do is, I don't recommend that you pick up auto brightness, even though it adjusts the brightness automatically based on ambient lighting conditions. Sometimes when you're under direct sunlight, the auto brightness will maximize the brightness settings, okay? And that's going to eat massive amounts of battery life. So what I recommend is, I recommend you keep it at 25% at all times. And then if you need it, you can manually adjust it. Okay, you have to be a power user if you want to save battery life. Now here's what I do recommend. You don't want to come to the display every single time to adjust the brightness slider. So do this. When you pull down the notifications panel, I made sure that the brightness slider shows up right there. If yours is not showing, what's happening is the option is disabled. What you can do is you can pull it down again and then you'll see it, and then tap on that arrow over here and say show control on top. So if I disable this, for example, and if I just pull this down one time, it's not going to show up. I have to pull it twice for it to actually show up. But if you want it to show quickly for quick access, just enable show control on top, and then you can quickly and easily adjust the slider whenever it is necessary. Okay, so that's all the settings with the display that you need to tweak to maximize battery life. Let's move on and talk about the battery savers modes. So if you go to the settings, go back to the settings, and if you go into device maintenance, you're going to see the device maintenance options. At the bottom here on the left, you have the battery option. If you tap on it, it takes you into a menu that kind of looks advanced, and from here it can save a lot of battery life. The very first thing you can do when you ever come here is tap this blue button if it's available, okay? That's instantly going to save some battery life for you by killing applications that are draining battery in the background without you noticing it. So for example, Best Buy, Instagram, and Pages Manager, and a bunch of these apps have been using some battery life in the background right now. They're using it right now, and I don't really need them, so I'm just going to tap Save Power, and it's going to start to put those applications to sleep so they don't eat any more battery life. And as you can see, that extended my battery life a little bit. So that's the first thing you want to do. The other thing you want to do is take a look at this advanced power menu over here. This is the power savings mode. It is turned off right now. You have the medium power savings mode and you have the maximum power savings mode. When you tap on the medium power savings mode, it's going to actually make some modifications to your phone to extend your battery life. So the things it's going to do is it's going to actually turn off background network usage, which eats a battery life. It's going to turn off the AlwaysOn Display, which also eats battery life. And I do recommend you turn this off anyway. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. And with this mode though, it does get disabled automatically. It also allows you to enable a speed limiter for the CPU and decreases the brightness by 10%, and also changes the screen resolution to full HD+, which is what we have right now anyway. The great thing with this little thing is it's customizable. So if you do not want the speed limiter enabled, you can disable it as I've done right now. Or you can tap it, and that's going to limit the maximum performance of the CPU, which is also going to save you some battery life. But as you change these settings, I want you to take a look at over here at the bottom. It's gonna add extra battery life to your smartphone, and it actually changes it in real time. So if I disable this, it is 4 hours and 42 minutes. I'm sorry, enable this, it's 4 hours and 42 minutes. If I disable it, it's going to be 4 hours and 26 minutes of extra battery life. By the same token, if I enable this, as you can see, the battery life savings just went down a little bit. But if I disable the background network usage, it gives me more battery life. Okay, and you can also always tap on details over here. That goes even more into details, and you can actually make the settings and tweaks right over here. So you can pick up if you want to disable or enable this, disable or enable, disable or enable, and you can also tweak the brightness. So as you can see, just by decreasing the brightness by 10%, I'm saving 1 hour and 3 minutes of battery life. If I move this over and decrease it by 5% as opposed to what I have right now, I'm only going to save 38 minutes of battery life. And if I don't change it, I save 0 minutes of battery life, which makes sense because there's going to be no modifications. So that's the medium power savings mode. You can come and you can play with it, and at the bottom you can always see in real time how much extra battery life you're going to be adding to your phone based on your current use. So when you're ready, you can click apply. Let me just show you what it looks like. Click apply, and it's going to actually do all the things we actually set it to do so, and then it's going to go to the medium. So let's turn that off for now and go back to what we had. So that's the medium power savings mode. Now what about the maximum power savings mode? That's something that's designed for a pinch. So if you look over here, the medium power savings mode is going to give you 25 hours of battery life as opposed to 21 that I have right now. But the maximum power savings mode gives you 73 hours of battery life. And the reason it does that is because it basically shuts off everything. So let me show you what it looks like. Tap on max, click apply, and boom, the phone is going to actually change to a black screen. It's going to turn off just about everything. As you can see, everything is getting turned off here. And after everything is set up, this is what you end up with. Okay, this is all you get. You get the phone, messages, internet, settings. You can add 4 more apps over here to use. You're not going to be able to add all the apps. You can add apps like WhatsApp. You can even add YouTube. I don't recommend that because that does eat battery life. But you can add calculator. You can add email. You can add Google. Let's just say Gmail and Google. So you can only add necessary apps to survive. But as you can see, with 86% battery life, you get 73 hours of battery life. Okay, so that's if you're in a pinch and you need a quick extension. I only recommend that you enable this if you only have 10 or 15% of battery life left. on your smartphone and the battery is draining fast. So forget about that. When you're done with this, you can tap on turn off, and that'll go back into the regular phone. And now what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about a couple other settings you can turn off to actually extend battery life even more. So for example, if you go into the quick toggles over here, turn off Bluetooth. If you're not using Bluetooth, turn it off because it is eating battery life without even you realizing. And also, if you're in the house and you already have a Wi-Fi connection, you can keep that enabled, but you can always go into the settings, go into connections, and actually turn off the data. So the data usage is right here. When you are in that menu, you go to mobile data and you simply disable this. But again, I wouldn't touch this one particularly because then when you leave the house, you have to return it, you re-enable it. So you might forget and then you're not going to be connected to the internet on the go. This is not that big of a deal. But you can turn off the Bluetooth if you're not using it, and that's also going to save you some battery life. And of course, the final thing I want to talk about is the always on display. So basically, make sure you turn off the always on display if battery life is a big concern. Because always on display is one of those things that eats battery life pretty heavily. So let's go to the settings. What you want to do is you want to go to the lock screen and security, and then scroll down a little bit, and always on display comes right up here. Now mine is turned on, but it's turned on as a minimum. Most people have it like this, okay? When you buy the phone, if you don't tweak it, it comes like this. So when you turn off the phone, you're gonna see an always on display in the background. Even when you turn off your screen, you'll see this thing right here, okay? So that is draining your battery. It's not gonna go away. So what you wanna do is you wanna go back inside. Let me go back in and make sure always on display is turned off because it is going to eat battery life very, very heavily, okay? So turn that off if you're having problems with your battery life. Some of these features are really nice to have, but they do come at a cost of eating your battery. And that's it. That was the last tip. All right, so if I did forget something, if I forgot to mention a good feature that you may know about, just drop a comment down below and let others know. And of course, make sure to subscribe to SAKITECH and give this video a thumbs up for more videos to come. And finally, if you do use Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, follow me at SAKITECH Online. All right, guys, have a fantastic day for now.